an exclusive economic zone that is larger than the number of countries on earth. And when we discuss maritime sovereignty of Pakistan, it has been established on total area of 290,000 of kilometers, square kilometers, which makes up 36% of mainland of the country. That means if we have got a province in Arabian Sea, it will be nearly greater than Punjab. So this actually tells us that Pakistan has a blessed blue economy zone, and because of Gwadar port and the seas we have a large potential of blue economy and related economies in our country. This and more of it will be discussed in today's pivot. To discuss the potential of blue economy in Pakistan, we have with us an expert from Institute of Strategic Studies, Mr. Muhammad Abbas Hasan, who has a know-how of blue economy, and it's his expertise. Welcome, Abbas.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Abbas, first of all, we'll discuss, and we'll like to know what is the blue economy.
Sir, blue economy is a relatively new subject. It was initially coined in 2010 and then further gained prominence in 2012 at the Rio 20 Plus conference. Although there are multiple definitions of blue economy that have been floated by various academicians, but the most accepted definition is that is by World Bank, and it is the sustainable use of ocean resources and livelihoods for a better economic development and a sustainable economic development.
So when we discuss of broad areas, that encompass blue economy, so what would be those areas that blue economy will be encompassing?
There are multiple areas, but the broader areas is, number one is the marine transport. This includes your sea shipments as well. Then there is marine tourism. Then there are the renewable energy resources. Then there are industries that are related to the ports, and shipbreaking industry is one of them. Shipbuilding industry is one of them. And then we have fisheries, and these are the broad areas that can be encompassed into the blue economy ambit.
Now, when we discuss blue economy, definitely it's a form of economic, potential that our country has. Now, we are facing economic crisis also, as you know, in our country. Do you think there's a possibility of, overcoming these economic crises that our country is facing through blue economy, and how can we amply use that?
Sir, that's a very good question. Unfortunately for Pakistan, we are a sufferer of a term called sea blindness, and sea blindness is a concept which basically says that the people of the country are not aware of the potential of the maritime potential. Now, as you stated earlier in your intro, that Pakistan has almost 36.4% equivalent to its landmass as its legally declared sea resource. Now, when you have an enormous resource, and a resource that's even bigger than one of your provinces lying just there to be exploited, and you're not developing it, and you're not capitalizing on the resources, you're actually letting go a big part of your economy. If we tap into this economy, now I'll just state a fact here that the global ocean economy is equivalent to the 7th largest economy in the world, and we are a very minute contributor to that. We need to capitalize, and if we invest properly, we can help Pakistan recover economically through exploiting the blue economy.
Okay, when we talk of blue economy, we know that it's a very newer concept in terms of economics. So do we have some model, a success model whereby we can see that how blue economy actually plays a role in economic development of a country?
Yes, sir. We don't have to look far. We just look towards our neighbors. Let's take India for an example first. India has successfully developed over 12 big ports, and it has 200 minor ports, and still India is developing further ports under a project called Sagarmala. The project will be completed by 2035, in which they will be adding 12 more ports, and they're also developing a ring road across the rim of India, which will connect all its ports with the rest of the country and the rest of the resources that can be tapped in. That's just one part of it. Apart from that, India has successfully taken over the world shipbreaking industry. We used to be number one in that industry, but now we are number third. Interestingly, number two is Bangladesh, which has already also exploited on its blue economy. So much so that one of the largest contributors to the GDP of Bangladesh is its marine tourism and its marine resources. So if we can even replicate the models of those countries and start developing our coastline, our virgin coastline that has not been tapped, and if we pose enormous potential to the country, be it maritime trade, be it maritime tourism or fisheries, enormous potential that's just lying over there.
So what do you think, what measures Pakistan should be taking to actually implement a success model of blue economy?
Oh, number one, it's advocacy. You need to educate the people of the country. Both the private sector and the public sector needs to step up and actually teach people that what exactly is blue economy. We need to tell them this is a resource, it's not for dumping sewage only. We can capitalize on this. This is the first part, education. Second is public-private partnership. See, when you have a coastline of over 1,000 kilometers, that's just there. It's not being tapped. We call it in maritime terminology virgin beaches. The elite of this country go to Thailand, Maldives, Mauritius. What for? Do they have better beaches than us? No, they have better developed resources than us. If we can develop our coastline according to the lines of those countries and have resorts, water sports, deep sea fishing and diving, we can tap into a resource which will not only cater to the local tourists but will also attract tourists from across the globe who are always looking for areas where they can spend their winters or come for vacation. So this is an area that we need to capitalize on.
Just a supplementary question to what you said, it's advocacy and private-public partnership. Do you see government playing its role with regard to this?
The present government has started some good steps. The Maritime Affairs Ministry was established in the previous government. Actually, the ministry existed. It was called the Ministry of Ports and Shipping, but the nomenclature was changed in the previous regime, and it became the Ministry of Maritime Affairs. The present government does have plans, and our minister has already spoken about these plans that they want to develop and capitalize on the maritime resources. But these are just words for now. Not a lot of concrete action has been taken. It's probably too early for them. If they have they have to go on for 5 more years. So let's just wait and see. But they do have plans for that.
Abbas, I'm asked to have a break. See you after this short break. Abbas, we would like to know, we need some technology to actually pursue the goal of blue economy. We can tap potentials of blue economy through technological advancement. Do you think Pakistan aims to fill technology gap, and when it does it, we will have a burden on economy? Or it will, it will be done the way ordinarily it will be done the way we do other things?
Sir, but before I start to answer this question, I'd like to tell you that what are the technological gaps that we have right now. The first one is that our ports, our 2 existing ports that are Karachi and Bin Qasim, they don't have the advanced capability of handling cargo. So they cannot handle the massive cargo. We need to, uplift those. And we need to also clear the sewerage content that we have in our waters in Karachi. That's a gap. Second one is that do we have this technology installed at the Gawada port? To the best of my knowledge, we are, upgrading the berths of Gawada port so that we can cater to large cargo. Third one is the fishing techniques that we have right now. They're not in line with the latest fishing techniques that we have. That's why we have been, banned multiple times by international countries because we were causing a lot of damage to the environment. So these are the technological gaps that we have for now. And I'm pretty sure that filling them will be a burden to the economy on that specific years because the returns that they're going to get us are huge. And if we do a cost-based analysis, we can, get our investment back within a few years, and then it's all about profits.
Okay, when we discuss of, since we talk of Gwadar, when we talk of blue economy, and we actually pin hopes to Gwadar for our economic development. So, and CPEC is of course terminating at Gwadar. What do you think, what role CPEC has specifically for blue economy?
Sir, the resources are infinite. The opportunities are infinite. See, the position of Gwadar is a blessing in its own. There is an eastern dock, there is a western dock, and both can handle large shipments. And these are huge docks, and that's why we are saying that it's one of the largest deep sea ports in the world. So when you have one of the largest deep sea port in the world, which will have a maximum capacity of over 70,000 million tons of cargo annually when it's fully functional, you need to build up industry, blue economy industry, that will cater to the needs of the people who will be docking at Gwadar. There is enormous potential for hotel industry, there is an enormous potential for marine tourism, there is enormous potential for fisheries. So all these sectors that I listed earlier on can be exploited at Gwadar, but it needs to be done with a vigilance. We just cannot offer contracts to foreign countries and let them exploit this. We need to ask our private sector to step up and capitalize, offer jobs to the local, create employment, so that even the spillover effect is passed over to the locals and the local population is not agitated, as we have seen in Balochistan in the past.
Just a supplementary question to what you said, because whatever we do in Gwadar, it definitely affects local population and local fishermen. So when we go advanced and we go, use technological advancement as a tool to our economy, so there's going to be, do you think local population will be benefited, and are they becoming ready for this change? Because as I know, there is some resentment in local population about what is happening there.
Yes, that is true. The locals are not equipped with the latest technology, and they frankly don't have any idea what exactly is modern fishing. You see, the modern fishing lines, they capture the fish in the sea and they actually process the seafood on the ships itself. And the locals, they're not aware of that. They capture their goods, they come back and then sell it for a lower price, and they're not getting the returns that they have. What needs to be done is that these fishermen need to be educated, trained, and even employed in some instances with the bigger fishing companies. And then second is that education on the marine life and resources. Our Institute of Oceanography is doing a very good job on that, and recently one of the universities has started to set up a campus in Gwadar so that they can train the locals into the different fields of maritime affairs and blue economy.
Abbas, I would like also to know, when we talk of locals and that skillful locals are skillful population, right? In blue economy, wherever you need a local population to be involved in businesses or maybe in certain storage and other activities of economic nature. So there's a skillful labor is required. Do you think government of Pakistan is taking enough steps to fill this gap and train people or educate people in that regard?
Unfortunately, no, sir. This is a big dilemma because, like I said, sea blindness also impacts the government of Pakistan, and we have not capitalized on this research. We have, just let it go. And now we are hearing reports that vocational training centers are being set up in Gwadar so that the locals can be educated and they can be employed into various fields of blue economy, and they can contribute to the economy of Gwadar also, and they can uplift the social structure of the region.
Okay, Abbas, I'm asked to take a break here. See you after a break. Abbas, there's an important thing that is when we were talking about various components of trade or economy. So governance and strategy is a very important role that it plays in enhancing blue economy. You just to have to elaborate what role governance and strategy can play in enhancing this blue economy.
Oh, sir, we need to have a framework as soon as possible, and well researched framework that will, that will not have any loopholes, so that when we start governing these areas, when we invite foreigners to invest in Gwadar, when we invite a public sector to invest in Gwadar, or the rest of the beaches that we have and the rest of the coastal resources that we have, so that there are no loopholes, there are no one exploiting these resources, and giving back to the society should be an important component of this framework. That's how we need to, have good governance in the region. And when you have good governance, the good governance can only come through a strong strategy, and that strategy will be the framework and empowering of the locals, and giving the Ministry of Maritime Affairs a very strong role in the region. That's how the government can step up and cater to the blue economy.
Okay, I would just like to know, since there is a criticism already we're facing with regard to environment in Gwadar, in blue waters. So, what is the current situation of environment in and around coastline?
Sir, apart from Karachi, which is the largest metropolitan city of the country, where we have dumped a lot of sewerage, and things are really bad at Karachi, but the rest of the coastline is fine. It's not used. It's like a brand new shirt that is just packed and waiting to be unwrapped. Okay. So we have not damaged the environment like other countries have damaged the environment.
But still, I think we will be required to carry out certain safeguards.
Yes.
And do you think government of Pakistan or the stakeholders are taking enough measures to safeguard the environments around the coastline? Because when we do activity, when we go into blue economy and we employ resources and other things, so we'll have to cater for environment protection. Do you think enough steps are being taken, or there is some consideration at some level as to how we'll deal this environment problem when it comes? Because it will attract a lot of criticism in the region and at a global level.
Sir, we need to be aware of the fact that Gwadar is going to have a lot of competitors in the region. There's Dubai, there's Chabahar, then there are other Gulf ports, and we need to, get business from them on competition. So we need to be very vigilant, and we need to make sure that we don't leave any stones unturned when it comes to environment. We will have to implement all the frameworks, so that no one can point fingers towards Pakistan and say, see how much damage they have caused to the environment and how fragile the ocean life is, and Pakistan is causing a lot of damage to that. So to avoid that situation, we need to implement all the environmental frameworks, and I'm sure at the government level a lot of work has been doing, and there's a lot of consideration into that.
Since I have a question for plans to make use of exclusive zone, I would like you to explain for viewers, what is the exclusive economic zone?
Sir, according to the United Nations Law of the Sea Convention, from where our land ends, there are three parts in which the water is divided. One is the international border, that is 12 nautical miles. Then there is the continental shelf of 150 nautical miles, and then there is a 200 nautical miles exclusive economic zones. So these are the three areas in which a country can carry out its trade activities without exploiting anything. Then there are the high seas, which are open for everyone. So in our exclusive economic zones, we can carry out exploration for minerals and resources and oil. In fact, one of the largest oil companies in the world has come into Pakistan, and they are carrying out rigging activities so that they can get benefit from the exclusive economic zone. Then there are enormous potential for fishing. We can carry out fishing over there. We can farm our fishes that can be exported, like tuna, which is in abundance in Pakistan. We can export that fish to the rest of the world. So these are this is what the exclusive economic zone is all about. It allows us to carry out economic activities without paying any compensation or offending any other nation.
Do you think Pakistan has put in place certain plans to use the economic zone?
Yes, we have. We are, like I mentioned in the previous question, that we have invited an international oil company to dig wells in the sea. Then a lot of talk is going on marine tourism. A lot of talk is going on developing resources within the exclusive economic zones. so that we can capitalize on that. So unless and until we don't do that, there is no point of developing a blue economy in the region, because blue economy is supported by an exclusive economic zone that is being capitalized. So it's very necessary, and they're taking steps for that.
Okay. Now, Abbas, when we talk of economic potential of blue economy, where do you see our Pakistan's economy in 2025 or 2030, if we have been able to successfully harness the blue economy?
So that's a question that we can only forecast the answer. But if you take my opinion, and if we start investing on our blue economy and we start developing our blue economy, our current growth rate is 5.8%. And if we start to tap into the blue economy, we can easily add 2 to 3% into the growth rate of the country just by exploiting on the blue economy. That comes to like an economy of over $40 to $50 billion. So that's the potential of blue economy by 2030, 35. If we do that, we can add that much to the economy of Pakistan, and then there are the jobs creation, and then there are multiple resources and additional business that's going to be generated.
So have we catered these job creations and other things with regard to CPEC? Is it part of CPEC?
We cannot call it a part of CPEC, but CPEC can actually complement this. CPEC is terminating at Gwadar, but then there is also a stretch of other areas that need to be catered. So CPEC can be extremely beneficial for Gwadar area, and then subsequently we can also replicate that model to the rest of the coastal areas.
Do you have some recommendations with regard to since we have we have certain projects with regard to CPEC in Gwadar? So do you suggest some measures taken in the framework of CPEC at Gwadar with regard to blue economy?
Yes, I think that like we are building special economic zones in Gwadar, we should also look into developing water theme parks or similar infrastructure at Gwadar, so that we not only we can carry out trade activities, but we can also carry out other commercial activities that will benefit the region and give employment to the locals.
Abbas, when we talk of various projects, and particularly when we are talking about blue economy, do you feel something happening in Gwadar, or it's because when I ask people about Gwadar, they say Gwadar is not developed as it should be. Gwadar is not developed as a port as it should be, and probably the development pace is slow. So how do you see this? Because I think blue economy is linked with development of Gwadar. What are your comments about it?
Sir, the biggest hindrance in the development of Gwadar is the location of Gwadar itself. The largest town close to Gwadar is Karachi, which is like a 1,000-kilometer drive from Karachi. Not 1,000, less than that, but it takes almost 10 hours to get to Gwadar from Karachi. Okay. They don't have clean drinking water. The Chinese have built a filtration plant where they're giving out waters to the local. But overall, even the electricity is borrowed from Iran. So we need to first develop the infrastructure at Gwadar, and then only we can start developing and capitalizing onto other areas like blue economy. So until we fully develop Gwadar first, we cannot get into the benefits of blue economy.
Abbas, thank you very much for you came, joined our show for a very important topic. And until next week, Allah Hafiz.